Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Let's just go back and talk a little more about the Riders stamp game. A couple of things. First of all, John Cornish shows more skin during a Rider game, whether it's
keep your pants on,
intentional or not. I mean, someone should buy the guy drinks and dinner. There's so many, so much exposure there. And then I wanted to talk to you about the real issue, and that is the concussion that Drew Tate suffered. Now, I want to ask you, what the hell is the policy with the Stampeders organization? Is it like, how many fingers have I got up? Tuesday. Close enough. You're in, big man.
Well, I think it's a little more advanced than that now, we would hope. The weird part about this whole situation was Drew Tate going on the halftime interview and saying he doesn't remember the first half. Yeah. Now, from what the Stampeders were led to believe was he came off the field, they tested him, he seemed normal, felt fine. They made him go through the SCAT tests where you have to, I've done this just to get a sense. I was with a doctor and he put me through the concussion test.
To do it.
It's tough. It is actually tough. They give you a series of 5 words and you have to remember them backwards and forwards. And then a series of 5 numbers and you have to remember them backwards and forwards. He passed all those tests. He felt like he didn't tell them he had complete memory loss of the first half. So
but he told TSN.
And he's told us afterwards, too. I don't remember the first half. Huffnagel came out afterwards saying, well, maybe he is being a little flippant about a serious question. Like, people really want to know. Do you honestly not have an hour and a half of memory loss? That seems like a severe concussion. But from what they did on their concussion testing, they felt like he was good to go. They felt like he was fine. He was acting normal. Sure, he may have had a little bit of a tough hit. He doesn't have the sensor in his helmet, as far as we know, to measure the hit. So it was a situation where they felt comfortable putting him back in, even though everyone that's sitting at home goes, this guy is severely concussed. Well, it's a black and white issue. It's weird. Are you concussed or not? It's tough. There's a lot of shades of gray in there, and that's the issue. Now, they had the same situation in the second half with Marquay McDaniel. Gets hit, knocked out, comes off the field, does not remember the play that he got hit on, but passed his test, went back in. It's scary when you think about all we know about concussion issues right now, that you would send somebody back in when they have no memory of something that happened. Seems like a red flag, but if he doesn't tell you, how do you know?
Well, I can see a lot of married men trying to use this excuse when they come home late. I just can't remember the last hour and a half after I left the bar. I must have got hit. I must be concussed. Yeah. That's my story, honey.
Yeah, there's usually
the concussion test.
Usually a good reason for that, and that's a little bit of the drinks.
Still talking about Drew Tate. He wasn't great. I mean, that game, there was a lot of misfired balls, a lot of overthrown balls, a lot of balls going to nowhere. He won it when he had to, but he wasn't great.
Yeah, and there was times when he was great, and then there was times that he was just absolutely not on the same page with the guys that are on the field. And I think that might come from the fact that he's only made 3 starts this year and only played sparingly in the last 2 games to get ready for the playoffs. Maybe it's going to take a while for him to get back. They don't have time to figure it out, but they've got to temper the game plan a little bit against BC, because Saskatchewan was pretty unlucky in the fact that none of those errant passes just randomly hit a guy that was, standing in an area where Tate thought the receiver was supposed to be. Yeah, they went deep a lot. They chucked it around and they tried to spread the defense out to give John Cornish a chance to face some, not stacked boxes, give him a chance to get to that second level of the defense. So it was a game plan that worked out for them. But yeah, when you have that high risk, high reward thing that when you're chucking the ball deep a lot, you're going to have some good plays and some bad plays, and they were lucky that the last good play turned out to be the winner.
I wanted to ask you one thing about this concussion thing too, getting back to that just for a quick second. Dave Dickinson's career was shortened because of concussions. You would think a team that lost one of its stars because of that would be a little more careful than just letting these 2 players back in there. I mean, and I'm not saying...
Well, and the one weird thing was that Dave was the first guy he's the guy that talks most with Tate, deals with him on an every play basis. Huff doesn't talk to him as much as you would think. So you would think that he would notice right away, and he said he didn't notice any change in him.
Yeah.
He was the same guy. He acted the same. He was reacting the same way he always does to what he was telling him to do, and he just felt, okay, if Pat Clayton has cleared him, and he seems absolutely normal to me, well then that's the situation, it's fine. Now, obviously, if this happens over and over again, and he keeps saying that he's got bad memory and that type of thing, well, that would probably be another red flag.
Put some duct tape on your helmet and get back in, kid.
Yeah, it's not like the old days, is it? You know, and the weird thing is, it's the general public and the media reaction to this is, we never used to react this way to things. Like you would always like, oh,
get
back in there. Aren't you tough? Well, we're talking about your brain nowadays, and there's no such thing as being tough with a brain injury.